you came here to the first show, when we were talking, I had to stop. Be like, I got to stop. I got to record this because I like these conversations.
Good.
You were telling me about the old days back at the comedy store.
Yes.
So, what originally got you into the comedy, or how'd you make your way to that store originally?
Well, I was always a jokester, and I had a really difficult childhood. I was placed in group homes and foster homes, and things that got me through was laughter. I would make people laugh because sometimes I'd be the only black kid in the entire house, sometimes the entire city. And so,
Really?
yeah.
It was like that.
This was years and years ago. It was Castle Rock. There was a group home called Frontier Boys Ranch. Okay. And in the town of Larkspur and Castle Rock, there were no blacks. This is when I was a kid. There were no blacks. So
I mean, even this area, I heard, like this Federal Heights area was like a racist area back in the day. I don't know, though.
Yeah. Well, so many parts of Colorado, because, you know, the Ku Klux Klan was stationed here in Colorado.
No shit. I didn't know that either.
Yes. But anyway, humor got me through some real difficult times, and it was just natural for me. And then when I decided to finally get up and do it, I used to go to a place downtown Denver. It was called the Oxford Hotel. This is the old Oxford. And they used to have an open mic, and only musicians were there. And I was the only guy getting up trying to do comedy, right? So I bombed for like the first 5 times. About the 6th time I got up, I got a laugh. And then it just grew from there. And then I said, I'm going out there.
That little addiction grew once you got that first laugh.
Yeah, man, that's addicting.
It's a weird little addiction, huh?
Isn't it?
I don't know if we just want approval or what the hell it is, but
It's not so much approval. It's just the thought that you're hearing laughter
yeah.
and you're the cause of it.
Yeah, and it just gives you a weird release of dopamine. At least for I mean, I don't get a crazy amount of laughs, but I mean, I still get that little dopamine rush when you do good.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That acceptance that you're funny, you know, and it's nice to get that. But anyway,
I don't think I'm good at maybe not yet or maybe not ever, but I'm not good at stand up in front of crowds. I got the magic edit button here, you know. Here I could be like, that wasn't funny. We'll re-record it.
Well, why do you feel you're not good with crowds?
I think it's just nerves. But I mean, it's just every crowd. I've had bad shows, good shows. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what though? You're a stand-up guy, Chris. Man, you make your own way. You've turned nothing into something. You know, you're a stand-up guy, and that boldness should help you on stage, I would think.
Maybe I'm just being too much of a bitch on stage. I don't know. Maybe I get scared. I don't know what it is.
But you can work your way through fight, because anybody that starts out doing stand-up, they're always stage
Tight.
fright. That's the hardest part. Once you get over that part, then you start getting relaxed and you start finding out who you are on stage. But it's a process.
The first mic I ever did, and I didn't know this room was notorious for being that room, was the Lion's Lair. Okay. So I fucking...
I
ate it.
I ate it big time.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You know what? The very first time I went there, there were a bunch of comics there, right? And Anthony had given me this real respectful introduction, right? So naturally, the comics are holding their holding their crotches on me, right? So I got up there and I didn't do too well, and I didn't like that because I wasn't used to doing bad sets. So I waited, and about 4 months later, I went back and I crushed. And then I kept going back and crushing. And then I started doing his gong show.
I was going to say, did you do the open mic or the gong show?
Both.
Both?
The gong show, I'd made the 7 minutes 4 times, and I just stopped doing it there. But, and I would go there like on the regular open mic nights and try out material. And I always did well there. But after that first bomb, I said, I got to conquer this. I said, I don't like that at all. And so I went back, and I've done well ever since there. But how I got into comedy, like I said, I was doing open mics at the Oxford, and after a while I started getting momentum. And I said, well, let me go out to L.A. So I went out to L.A., went out to the Comedy Store, and they had the new talent night. Back then it was on Monday nights, right?
How long was this after, or how long had it been the Comedy Store?
How long had it been the Comedy Store?
Yeah, because before it was the Comedy Store, it was Zero's nightclub, right? Zero's?
Well, see, I didn't know that because when I got there, Mitzi Shore was there.
Oh, okay, so everything was already going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Mitzi was there, and I had heard the stories that she'd got it from her husband, Sammy Shore, who had originally owned the Comedy Store. Anyway, I was doing the New Talent Night, and the host back then was Robert Aguayo and Danny Mora. And then you had Harris Pete, and sometimes Argus Hamilton, you know.
Yeah. Dude, Argus probably still does comedy there.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
He's still
I've
there
seen
in
him at the
main room.
Comedy Store.
But anyway, Mitzi made me a regular, and of course,
How did that feel when she passed you? When she said, "Keep coming"?
It was great, man, because they see me putting in the work, and people like Leno and them would come up to me afterwards, like they would see me do my little spot, and hey, Ralph, that was a great. Of course, back then my name was Rayfield Scott. That was my stage name then, and I get a lot of encouragement from a lot of the people who were successful and made it.
Yeah.
Gary Shanley and I used to kick it in the back of the Comedy Store late at night because Mitzi would give us the late night spots,
I heard those were the fun spots, though. That was when everything turned up after midnight.
Well, it depends what day of the week it was. Like on a weeknight, not so much.
No?
No. But that's what kind of got me out there and believing that I could do it, because when I got encouragement from people like Mike Binder, Jay Leno. One of my favorites name was Kip Adada. Kip Adada, a lot of people don't know about him, but he was one of my greatest inspirations.
There's a lot of comedians the people don't even know about just because they never made the light, quote unquote.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Kip did, but this is way back when. Most of this generation wouldn't even know him, In fact, Kip passed away a couple of years ago. But
there's a guy that I heard about that if it wasn't for Joe Rogan mentioning him, I would have never known who he was, Lenny Bruce.
Oh, you didn't know about Lenny
I didn't know
Bruce?
about him, but I saw it. It's just hilarious.
He was the first one to really put the shock treatment out there.
Yeah.
Anytime you come out on stage butt naked and jump around and tell the audience to watch the bouncing balls and then leave, and they're sitting there waiting for a show.
Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, that's him. That was Lenny. But
did you get to see Missy Shore's son when he was little?
oh, I knew Paul.
Paulie?
As a kid, yeah. He probably doesn't remember, but I remember he was a little kid. He used to come through there.
Dude, I remember Ralph, dude.
Well, my name, like I said at the time, was Rayfield Scott, and there's a few people there that probably might still be there, but I'm old now, and I think the only person there that was when I was there is Argus,
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of influences too. Like, do you remember the movie Car Wash, the original Car Wash movie?
With Dr. Dre and...
No, the original Car Wash.
Oh, that's The Wash. Never mind.
Right.
Yeah.
The original Car Wash had Richard Pryor in it.
I don't think I watched it, no.
Okay, if you get a chance, look up the original Car Wash. There's a guy in the movie with the big afro. His name is Franklin Ajayi. He played the fly in the movie. Well, he's the one that really kind of encouraged me, because when I saw him at the Comedy Store, I had seen him on Don Kirshner's rock concert. That was a TV show back then where all, the big performers, musicians, comedians would perform.
Yeah.
And I saw him on there, and that's what kind of let me know, look, everybody doesn't have to be Richard Pryor. You don't have to be Red Fox. This man he had a style I had never seen before from a black comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it. And then when I went out to the Comedy Store and became a regular, I finally ran into him and talked to him for a long time and let him know that he, inspired me to come out. And to this day, he remembers me because I gave him such a great compliment. But anyway, I went out there and I became a regular. And then life happened.
Kids, wife, or?
I made some bad decisions. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I made some bad decisions.
That's normal with the comic life from what I've seen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I pissed some people off, like Bud Friedman, who owned the Improv. See, at the time, him and Mitzi had a feud. If you performed in one spot, you wouldn't be able to perform at another, right?
That's really strange.
But at the same time, Robin was doing it. He would do the Improv, then come to the Comedy Store, because, he was good,
Did you know how that thing became where, like, if Mitzi passed you, you were like a regular? Did that just start randomly where Mitzi's like, I approve who's funny and who's not? Or did she have someone like giving her influence, like this guy's funny?
She had someone giving influence because sometimes she'd be up in the booth watching through the light.
Oh, okay. She'd have like a talent searcher or something, right?
Right. But at the same time, Robert Guy and Danny Mora, they were the ones letting her know, look, this guy's ready to showcase for you, et cetera, whatever, They would give her the insight when she wasn't there or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she had people looking out.
Yeah. I started going to the Comedy Store like when Kill Tony first started.
Okay.
Kill Tony, I didn't even know what the hell Kill Tony was. I was in California and I was like, Kill Tony on a Tuesday, I believe it was, or Monday. I just went and it was hilarious. I didn't know what the hell it was, but you weren't doing comedy there anymore at that time?
No,
okay.
No. When did Kill Tony start?
10 years ago, maybe longer.
Okay, yeah. Because see, I was way back there. I first went out there in, I believe it was 1976.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. No, it was 76. Yeah.
Okay. So what I
1976.
consider like way back in the day is probably like that's still like the next generation after you stop going.
Right.
Like when Bobby Lee first started going and all them. That's like when I started really getting into the whole comedy scene. I always liked stand up comedy. My brothers used to watch it. My dad used to watch it. I never understood the references as a kid because you're not that
Right.
smart. But like
Right.
Richard Pryor, Louis C.K. My favorite comic is Bill Burr. Like if they told you you only listen to one on an island forever, it'd probably be Bill Burr. Yeah.
I love him. You know, I've never been for, uh, for comics that were like really brash or blue.
What does
And-
that? What does
and-
that mean exactly? Like just how the way
like-
he like
No, no.
nags about stuff? Or?
No. Here's the thing: comics that do that just nag and take the low hanging fruit all the time. I've never been for that, and I thought Bill Burr was like that, but I decided to take the time to listen to him, and the guy cracked me up because he's speaking real stuff,
Oh yeah.
and I love it. And what hooked me was he said, you know, they say there's never a reason to hit a woman. He said, there's 1,000 reasons to hit a woman, but you just don't do it, you know? And he goes on and on. So I started listening to him, and the guy is speaking truth.
Yeah.
He's speaking facts, and I love him. I
Yeah,
really
no,
do.
he's funny. Even
Absolutely.
on podcasts, you follow podcasts a lot?
No, I don't.
So he has like this kind of like presence that makes everybody nervous from what I've seen in podcasts. Like he's like, oh shit, it's Bill Burr, you know? And like he makes everybody nervous, and he like the way even when he just like clowns somebody is just hilarious on a podcast. Like he'll go on a dude's podcast who's all emotional, talking about stress. He's like, stress? What the fuck are you talking about? Get your shit together. Like,
yeah. Well, you know, somebody like Bill Burr, somebody that's quick-witted like that,
Yeah.
and when he sits down, he's got that look.
Yeah, he's giving you
Everybody's
that.
afraid he's gonna get roast. He's gonna roast him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. People are afraid that he's gonna roast him. You know, but you
Yeah.
know, actually, he's a level-headed guy. He knows when to turn it on and turn it off. He really does. I watched him 2 nights ago on was it Kimmel?
On Kimmel?
I think he was on
he's
Jimmy
there a
Kimmel.
lot.
I think he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he starts going into it a little bit, and you know, I'm waiting. The audience didn't really respond, but I got where he was going. You know,
What was the first comic or celebrity that you met at the store, or even just in your career of comedy that you got starstruck? Like, oh shit, that guy's here.
I guess it was Pryor.
Pryor?
Richard Pryor, yeah, because I remember one night he was coming into the back of the comedy store, and he had his bodyguard with him who knew an art that I never heard about called Bondo.
Bondo.
Yeah, some type of martial art. I never heard of it. But anyway, he was his bodyguard, right? And him and Richard would shadow box in the parking lot playing around.
Yeah.
And I kicked it with him for a little bit. I didn't kick it with him a lot because me and Paul Mooney I didn't really care for Paul Mooney, okay? And he didn't care for me because we just had, I was young and I had a whole different perspective, and he was old and bitter.
Yeah.
Okay, and so he and I, we just never got along. In fact,
That's very strange, huh? How like those jokes that Pryor tells are iconic, but it really matters who sells the joke, because Paul Mooney obviously couldn't sell the joke the way he did it. That's why Richard Pryor performed them.
well, if you've seen Paul's act, he's got his own way of delivering.
He's got his own style, yeah.
You know, but I don't know, like
Is he really sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is that part of his act, or is he real? From what I've seen, he's real like against the white man, quote unquote. He's always like putting down the white man, like
well, he
trying to
passed
joke.
away, but yeah, he was. That's why he and I didn't get along. Because he was.
I always thought that was part of his act, because it made me fucking laugh.
No, he was serious about it.
Yeah.
He was serious about it. He hated white people.
I wonder what they did to him. Well, I mean, you're saying it was very racist back in the day too, huh?
Well, it was. You know, America was.
It was a different time.
Right. Racism wasn't as covert as it is today. It still
You'll get
exists.
arrested for being racist now.
I don't know now, but he was like that, you know. And I used to kick it with Marsha Warfield, and at the time she was hanging out with Brad Sanders. You ever hear the voiceover on The Young and the Restless?
I don't think so.
Years
No.
ago. Anyway, that was his voice. That was
Yeah.
Brad. But anyway, I think to answer your question, Pryor, meeting him was something because I had listened to his album back here in Denver before I even went out there, right? Him, Kip Adada, Gary Shanley, Robin Williams, they all had an impact on me.
I got to see Robin Williams once. I didn't get to meet him, but his act was cool.
Yeah, he was very spontaneous,
Yeah.
very sharp, and people used to accuse him of stealing stuff, but he didn't steal. The thing is, when you got a mind working that fast
Yeah.
and you're in front of an audience, you got to pull from your.
Well, now in retrospect that we know what was going on in his head, you can kind of understand where that comes from.
True.
Like, that kind of wittiness and brain power can sometimes also work in a negative way.
Sure, it can. It can be your own demon.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I didn't know he was going to. Like I said, at the time that he was at the Comedy Store, he was just always very kind and always very supportive. He would encourage me. Leno was a big encouragement to me. Kip Adada, he was great. If you ever get a chance, look him up, Kip Adada, and see if you can find some of his old clips.
There's got to be something on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where were you when Richard Pryor was on his last health days? Like when he had to start getting carried onto the stage and stuff like that.
I was in Nevada.
I saw
that
a
time.
video where they had to sit him down on his stool and pick him back up, and it was very sad. But I was wondering, where were you in those times? Like, were you still at the store doing?
No, I was in Nevada then.
Nevada?
I had gone out to Nevada for a while.
Vegas?
Yeah, Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah.
Kind of a random question, but you ever heard of Pop's Philly cheesesteaks?
Pops? No.
Pop's Philly cheesesteaks in Las Vegas?
No.
Oh, okay. If you ever go back to Vegas, check them out. And my dad owns that place.
Pops?
Yeah, they always get awards for #1 Philly cheesesteaks. They bring all their stuff from Philly. It's a really nice spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
15 years. The store's been there longer, but actually the original owner died about a couple years ago.
Okay.
But he's been running it for them, and he started young there, and he's old. He's an older cat now. My dad, I think he's in his 60s.
All right. He lives out there now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he remarried and all that, but I still keep
Okay.
in contact with him.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had gotten into comedy after just being a class clown. But I think it wasn't until years later that I looked back at something that happened to me when I was 2 years old.
You remember that?
That's what's incredible about it. I wasn't even supposed to be able to form a sentence back then, a full sentence. But I
Yeah.
remember walking by a television, and there was a black guy on the television, and he said something that I wasn't supposed to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I laughed for days. He said, my parents never wanted me. They sent me to the store for a loaf of bread. When I came back, they had moved. but when he said that, I wasn't supposed to understand that at 2
Yeah.
years old, and I laughed so hard for about 3 days. It wasn't until
It could have been the ambiance in the room too, where it's your family watching it.
No.
And it was just you.
It was just me walking by.
That's very strange.
I will never forget that.
That's so
And
cool,
it
though.
wasn't until I started doing comedy at the Comedy Show LA that I reflected back on that, and I remembered that. I said, okay. Because humor, I wasn't supposed to understand that at age 2.
I feel like I have memories from that back then too, but I ask myself if they're real memories or if they're just false memories that I've either tweaked a little bit or recreated in my head. It's hard to say. Who knows?
Well, this one here, I will never forget. And it's like, I can still see the color of the television and everything. It was a white television, and back then it was black and white,
Yeah.
And I'll never
Old
forget
school
that.
knobs.
Yeah. If you wanted to change the channel, you had to get up off the couch and turn, right?
Yeah.
Back then, if somebody wanted to use your phone, you had to let them in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Technology has changed everything.
My earliest technology was dial-up. I remember dial-up. And compared to now, that was Stone Age shit. But I was so wild with dial-up. We had one of the first Macs that came out. And man, things have changed so much now. We all got cameras and phones. And
Oh man.
And it's really strange because when I look at that, I ask myself, I feel like if I had the technology now, back in the day, I could rule the world. But I have it now, and it feels like it's useless.
Because technology is advancing so fast.
But we all got computers in our pockets, and we should be way more productive. But a lot of people we're just dumb. We don't know how to use it to its potential.
No, well, here's the thing is technology has dumbed us down as a
That's what
society.
it could be that too.
Look, there was a time when you could walk down the street and wave at somebody and they'd wave at you back, or you could speak and they'd speak back. Now everybody's got their earplugs in, they've got their face in their phone, and they don't want to be bothered.
Oh, it'll start some shit. You can use a simple, "Hi, what the fuck?"
Yeah. and especially in Denver, I live downtown. Sometimes I walk down the street, and this is my nature. I speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black folks, they look at me like, what you speaking about? What you happy about?
That's fucked up.
It is, man. It's messed up. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the world in general,
Yeah.
People are, the love of many has waxed cold. People are just colder.
But I wonder, I always ask myself, because you say that to me, and I say that to the younger people, but in my version, I'm like, back in my day, I'm only 32.
Right.
But I'm like, back when I was your age, because I have like a little clients that are like 12, 13,
Right.
14 years old. And I'm like, dude, back in my day, it was so much different. And like, I wonder if that's just like a constant change. Like, I'm sure they're going to tell people, man, back in my day, man,
It's
back
a constant
like
change.
like I feel my era had the best music, 90s. I think we killed it when it came to me, but a lot of people look at our music like, man, what the hell is that? Like,
I get it. But now, when you were a kid and you started liking music that your parents didn't like,
yeah,
okay, you couldn't understand that. But now, as a parent, you can see what you don't want your kids to listen to.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I grew up with everything. The most risky song you would hear is "I Want to Hold Your Hand."
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah, the Beatles. I want to hold your hand. Okay.
So everybody was shocked when like fucking NWA came out, huh?
Oh, but even when the Beatles came out with "I Want to Hold Your Hand," there were senior citizens saying, "Oh, you know what that leads to?" They wouldn't even let kids listen to "I Want to Hold Your Hand."
No, yeah, it's like the movie Footloose when a guy that could fucking dance shook the whole town.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
it's the devil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Yeah, it's,
I listen to some music today.
mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you who the number one artist is because I refuse to listen to radio now.
Yeah, me too.
With
I've
garbage.
gotten to a certain point where I don't even listen to any new music.
No, I have my old favorites, people I can rely on, music that I can listen to and tolerate that's not telling me to shoot the cop or slap the bitch and all that. I hate it.
Not even that. I used to like that music, but now music is not even cool. Like NWA was cool, man. Music sucks now. It's just a bunch of pill popping kids who are on fucking SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Talking about this and talking popping pills and fucking bitches.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's
And
really.
I can't take this music today. So I understand how my parents felt. I understand how their parents felt, you know. And as we get older, we're going to see the world just digress into a more barbaric.
I try not to hide that from my kids, though. I try to let them see, like this is what the world is. You got to learn how to handle all that. Like,
If you show
my
them,
wife's a little more old school. She's like, don't show them this. Like, don't show them Grand Theft Auto. Don't show them this bad word. I'm like, they're going to hear it from their friends. They might as well know that they can trust me and feel comfortable around me and hopefully us and know when to use it, when not to use it, when not to say it, not to say it. Maybe I'm wrong in my theory, but...
No, but here's the thing. I can understand your wife's perspective, and I understand yours. The thing is, if you keep certain things of the world away from them in the house, when they go outside and they're around their friends or they're at school, it's that influence. So all of a sudden, you become the bad guy because their parents will let their kids do it, but you won't let us do it, Dad. And so then they'll start sneaking to do it. Then they become rebellious. And from that point on, it can just spiral. But at the same time, if you allow them to come to you freely with all this stuff, they know they have open communication with you.
Yeah,
and
like...
they bring something in the house like that, you can say, look, this is why I don't want you to watch it. But if you just keep them all together, that's where the problem.
Yeah, no, I'm more like an example. Like, I let my older son, he's 8, but I let him cuss around me. I don't expect him to go acting wild in the street and say, oh, fuck this and fuck that. But, like, he'll say some bad words around me, like, oh, shit, Dad, I messed up, or something like that. But he understands, like, me and you were together. When you're with your mom, it's going to be different. When you're with your friends, it's different.
Do you think he'll have that control all the way up?
I don't know, but I hope so, because I try to teach them in the way that, like, and I'm not complaining, my parents did a great job, but I always I'm trying to tweak the things that I feel that they lacked on or something that could have benefited me.
Okay.
You know, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what a lot of parents do is like people that were abused physically when they were kids, when they get older, they make sure that they don't put their kids through that. You know, so I can understand that. You know,
no, I mean just like I don't know if that translates over to like Black culture a lot, but like Hispanic culture is very in a box.
right?
All parents, Hispanic parents, teach the same way. It's like you respect my rules. They're like you don't talk back even if I'm wrong, which even though I get it, you know,
That's hard.
it's hard. Like adults are wrong too, and I think kids should be able to say or learn how to talk to their parents. Like, hey, you know, in this specific situation, you might be wrong. Obviously, there's got to be mutual respect, but I feel like it's hard to say. Like, why people overdo it when they're like, oh, my son, like, he's fucking this, he's the greatest in the world, and come on, Johnny, and, like, you did great, even though you fucked everything up. Like, not like that,
Right.
but, like, to an extent. Like, you got to know, like, okay, yeah, I might be wrong. I've admitted it to my kids. Like, sometimes when I did, hey, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong in this specific situation. I messed up, I made a mistake, and I was wrong. An example might be, like, my wife maybe won't have the valor to say I'm wrong. It's like, I know what I did, why I did it, and you respect that. And that's the rule. And if you don't like it, it's my way or the highway type shit.
Well, here's the thing. What I have found is that a lot of the black kids that were raised like in my era, that came up during my years, there was a certain standard in the house. Okay, first of all, you never talk back to your parents. Okay, and you never cursed in front of your parents, even though you'd hear them cursing all day. You never cursed, right? And there were certain things that parents instilled in kids back then. Okay, even though some of the methods weren't right, it had a lasting effect.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Because we knew how to respect adults. We knew how to conduct ourselves in public. Okay, nowadays, parents are too busy being friends rather than parents. And if you don't establish that respect, if you don't make the kid respect you, and you just try to be their friend,
that just comes from a weak mentality. That whole friend thing. Like, I remember the first time I hit my kid, like I spanked him,
Right.
I felt like, oh, fuck, he hates me now. He's never going to talk to me again. But they understand. It's just
they
parents.
understand.
Yeah.
Right.
You need a little bit of that.
You have to have that. You have to have that. Society had more morals back in the day, whereas now everything's legal. Everything is
Or protected legally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like if you hit your kid, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Crazy things like if your 12-year-old kids decide he wants to get on a pill prescription and turn into
To
a
a
different
woman.
gender,
Yeah.
woman to man or man to woman, whatever, I'm allowed to do that now, or I can sue my parents. That's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous, man. And
Yeah.
this is why I'm glad we've got a possible change coming in this country.
Hopefully.
Because there are two genders, period.
I think, as fucked up as it sounds, and I'm going to get some hate for this, and maybe I won't be able to upload it to YouTube, but that shit all comes from horniness. That shit's all in your,
It's all the flesh.
It's all in the flesh. That's just like, what are they called? Deeds, or not deeds of the flesh, sins of the flesh, or...
Yeah, deeds of the flesh, sins of the flesh.
Yeah, like tendencies or addictions of the flesh. Yeah, that's all horniness. That isn't like, who the fuck really wants to transition their life like that?
Not only that, but how would a 7-year-old kid know anything about life?
Yeah.
To all of a sudden tell his parents, okay, I want to be a woman, and they have to comply with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree. I mean, to an extent, you know, like I have kids, so obviously I have to prepare in case any weird shit like that ever does happen. I think like you got to know your kid, and if that's a thing, like if you want to adjust your lifestyle to make them more comfortable, that's one thing. But letting them get on pills and change their whole life and possibly ruin their life when they're 18.
Oh, yeah.
That's why a lot of kids kill themselves.
Do you know that the highest rate of suicide is among transgenders?
Yeah, because they realize, oh shit, this is not what I wanted.
And they no way of going back.
I had some stupid joke I wrote about it one time, and it does not kill with the specific crowd, especially if it's that kind of crowd.
Right.
Where it's like, you know, go jack off or go fuck, and then if you still feel that way, you might be onto something. But other than that, you're probably gonna feel stupid with your wig on and shit after you look at yourself in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Like even when we masturbate, you ever caught yourself in the mirror after you're done masturbating? You feel horrible.
You look horrible. You look spent and horrible.
Yeah,
and you feel so ashamed.
Yeah. So that's gonna, if that doesn't happen, then you may be onto something. But chances are, after you bust a nut, you're gonna feel different. You gotta come to your senses.
It's like when you're pursuing a woman. Like in our younger days, when we pursued a woman, oh man, we could find thousands of things to talk about just to get her.
Oh yeah.
And then once you got her, man,
it was done.
You're looking up and saying, the crack in the ceiling. Nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
You know? It's amazing. But you're right. It all is deals with the flesh.
I think that all deals with the flesh. I mean, there are outliers. I think there really are outliers. And when I say mental illness, I don't mean it as a bad thing. I would say
No.
more mental diagnosis. There are some people who are wired that way, and maybe they will live their life happier that way. There are outliers. I think there really are outliers, but I think a lot of the crowd is just trying to tie on to a bandwagon.
That's exactly what it is. And you have your politicians, making laws to support that bandwagon.
Well, they know they make money off of that.
Sure
That's
they
why, have you noticed how fucking on Pride Month, everything is Pride? You log in, Facebook is, everything is not it's not because they approve of it, it's because they want to make money. 2 for 1 on Pride Week, or some shit, like 2 for 1 drinks at fucking whatever the hell the clubs are called nowadays.
You see, my own personal thing is, I hate the word pride itself because it's the one thing that's the fall of mankind.
It is pride. Pride could be good and bad. I've seen examples of both, but pride will ruin your life.
Oh, it got Satan kicked out of heaven. I know that. So I don't touch it. But as far as comedy and
is that the if you don't mind me asking, I'm not too studied about it. Is that why? Apparently, is that the story of why Satan got kicked out of heaven?
His pride is arrogance.
He wanted to take over, right?
Right.
He wanted to be the guy.
He wanted to set up his own kingdom.
I heard he was better looking than Jesus, though, and Jesus might have been a little sour about that. I heard he got all of them, bro. I know I'm joking the way I say it, but they say that wasn't they saying that he was the best looking angel?
No, he was a beautiful angel. He had
because I've heard Jesus described in many ways, but never handsome. Never beautiful.
Here's the thing. Jesus himself, when he prayed to the Father, he mentioned about it. He says, I'm not a handsome man, okay? And you can find that in Psalm somewhere. But the thing is, pride is an ugly thing.
Yeah.
It's an ugly thing. And for anybody, look, you and I know that we're not running this planet. We don't run nothing down here. When it snows and it's freezing, we have to deal with it because we ain't running nothing.
I just deal with it because there's nothing you can do about it. Right. Like when my clients ask me, I never check the weather. I'm like, I wake up, I look out the window, that's what I'm wearing.
Right. Well, here's the thing. If I'm going to be out all day, I'm going to find out what the forecast is so I can, like right tonight. If I came here in just a windbreaker, I'd be freezing my ass off out there. But yeah, I check the weather, but pride is just, I have no problem with confidence.
No, it took me, you know what got rid of my ego a lot was, you ever done mushrooms?
No.
Mushrooms really changed my life. I don't do them anymore, but the trips I did do, I did them, I'm not going to say spiritually because that sounds kind of hippie-ish, but I really try to analyze my brain. I really try to analyze my thoughts, my feelings, why I feel this, why I feel that, and I feel like that really changed me, what I considered stress or panic attacks, that doesn't exist for me anymore. I know how to handle. I know it's just emotion, and you ever had a panic attack at all? An anxiety attack, quote unquote, where you feel
I think I had one 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, there's specific situations where if you have let's say a big show, you start getting an anxiety attack. But for a while, there's people who were just I've had clients who were just in their chair. And then I start feeling they get a little clammy, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm getting an anxiety attack, and I'm like, "Well, why?" And they're like, "I don't know. I just started overthinking shit." And I'm like, "Well, don't overthink shit." And it sounds simpler when I say it,
right?
But that kind of therapy that I gave myself made me understand that you run your brain. Your brain doesn't run you.
That's right.
And when people really understand that, they'll understand how beautiful and horrible life is.
Well, there's a scripture that I always follow. It says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you're right there. You have to control your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You have to control what you put in it, okay? And you have to control what comes out of your mouth, And that's discipline. Anybody that wants to better themselves for God or for whatever, for their marriage or whatever, you start there,
Mm-hmm.
And
also, clarity comes with its demons. There's a lot of crazy shit in my head, but if I dwelled on it and let it take over, I'd be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Or a substance abuser. There's my people. close friends that I've had really regard me for that reason, for my emotions. They're like, you helped me out a lot. Like, 'cause I've helped some people like get through some shit, and they're like, the way you made me see things and understand things like has changed me, and they kind of thank me for it. But they think that I'm this like super chill dude, and all I have is positive thoughts in my head. No, dude, I'm freaking the fuck out every day, but I know how to put that shit aside.
Right.
And
Compartmentalize
yeah,
it
yeah,
and deal with
yeah.
absolutely.
Simple things like that. Feelings are just feelings.
Well, you know something? Somebody said something to me the other day, and it's so true. You know, we give good advice, but we don't often follow our own advice. You know, sometimes
that's really easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that. But if you follow what you're given, you know, you can be a living example for people, you know?
Yeah.
Like people come to you and say, man, you're always chill, blah, blah, blah. Like you said, they don't know what's in your head.
Yeah.
People come to me the same way. I've got a lot of things going on up here too, you know?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me who I am. If I act upon these ill thoughts, then there's a problem.
Yeah, it sounds like depressing when I say this way, but just because I'm not screaming and crying on the outside doesn't mean I'm not feeling that on the inside.
Absolutely. And I've learned to hide mine over the years from
Yeah.
other people because I don't want to burden somebody else.
And it's not a bad thing. People, that's one thing I don't understand. Like, people always like, let it out, talk to us. You don't always need to talk to somebody.
Especially if it ain't going to help.
No, they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're just being nosy.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of times people want to know what's going on just so they can know because they're nosy, not because they can help you or because they care.
Yeah, or they'll pretend to care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you walk down the street, you say to somebody, hey, how's it going, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just do that out of habit. Do we really want to know how it's going?
Yeah, no.
You know?
It's like this funny meme, like this little video came out recently. It's like these two guys at the office, and he says, hey, how you doing, Dave? He says, I'm fucking depressed and I'm losing my mind, man. How about you? And the guy looks at him and says, next time just say good and shut the fuck up.
Because that's what we're all thinking.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. This I know I intentionally came to ask you about a lot of comedy stuff, but this always happens on my podcast. I spiral off. We'll talk about religion and aliens.
Cool.
I don't really ever have a topic. I don't ever have, like, people ask me times, like, what are we going to talk about? I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever the conversation takes us.
Yeah.
Man, you know. But did I answer your question about how I got into comedy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. So I guess I should ask you now, why do you still do it now? Years down the road, what keeps you active? What keeps you just a hobby for now? Or do you still like it with the same kind of aggressiveness?
It's a hobby. I've been doing it for a long time, and
It's just part of your life?
it's a part of my life, but I don't do it for any. I mean, if something happens now, great, but I'm not doing it looking for that.
You're not looking for that show, that income anymore. You're just doing it for fun.
I mean, if it happens, fine, but I don't. That's not my motivation.
Sometimes
anymore.
that's when the best things come.
When you're not looking.
Yeah, because you have a different motivation, a different way of presenting yourself. Because sometimes you can come off as hungry and like, oh, this guy's just trying to get a quick buck type shit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, with me, because I write books and songs and stuff like that, so I'm well occupied. I do my Bible studies and all that, so I stay occupied. I'm not going to be doing as much comedy these next few years because I have some other things that I'm working on.
Nice.
But,
Side projects.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Were you ever married? Did you have kids?
I have kids. I have a wonderful son. He's very successful. The name is Manuel Scott. Manuel V. Scott. I think I showed you.
I don't think so. I don't think you showed me
Manuel
that.
V. Scott. Did you see the movie called The Freedom Writers?
Yeah.
Okay.
With
Hillary Swank
yeah,
and Patrick Dempsey. Well, the black kid in the movie was portraying my son.
no shit.
Yeah.
So he actually got to meet this woman that was portrayed in that movie too and all that?
Oh,
It's all based on a true story, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And my son went on to be a very successful motivational speaker. He's also a doctor now.
Nice.
And he...
Well, it shows that it's still in the family, the kind of like, because obviously comedy and public speaking are two different things, but the same thing also at the same time,
you're
you know?
dealing with the public. You're dealing with people. You're speaking.
Public
Absolutely.
speaker. That's really cool.
And he's doing very well. I have 3 beautiful grandchildren by him. He's got a wonderful wife. Her name is Alice, and she's the perfect wife. And apparently he's the perfect husband. They have 3 beautiful children, and they're doing very well. And I'm very happy for them. You know, they don't communicate with me much, but that's fine. It's not about
That
me.
is how it is.
It's about them.
Yeah, it's about them, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But
I always tell like my wife too. Like I brought my kids in this earth with no weight or guilt that they owe me anything back. Like some
Right.
parents I've met, like especially more older parents, like maybe like my parents' era, they have kids expecting for them to be the ones that take care of them when they're older. And yeah, that's what the family should do. But I brought my kid like with the purpose of like I got to figure out hope to how to make it by when I'm old. I got to have my own retirement. I don't want to throw that on him. Otherwise, why did I bring him here?
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people, well, parents, they look for that.
Yeah.
I think a child should naturally want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
it's not something you groom them for. You know,
No,
it's not
no,
something,
no.
that's not why you bring them in the world. Somebody
And
just
times have
take care.
changed so
Yeah.
much that that's like old school, like even like tribism and like Asian culture has that a lot too of like, like I think it's like either the firstborn or the lastborn, they're like the quote unquote responsible one for the family,
Okay.
like they're the ones that are going to be the ones that take, I don't know the exact, might be the firstborn or something like that, but that's like one example I could think of, like with Asian culture. It's like
Is it the firstborn male?
the
or just-
firstborn male, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's traditional, not only in the Asian culture, but I think even in I'm not sure, but I think the Hebrew culture, and there's a few other cultures like that. And on the other hand, there are-
Hebrew, that's like Jewish people, right?
yeah, right. But on the other hand, I have some cooks that used to work for me from Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
and and some from Africa, and they were telling me that over there, you don't leave the house until like you're 30 something because
yeah.
they expect you to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to stay there. You go to school there. You know the
That's
whole thing.
also like how some people make it. Like an example I could think of is like I seen it like with like Indian culture.
Yeah.
They all come here. They don't. We're created into this way of the American. I see is like you got to leave by the time you're 18. You
Right.
gotta,
That's America.
They all come and they're all in one fucking studio apartment until they all have enough money. And like, let's say the first son opens his first store, and now we're all working to open the second store, and then like, we're all gonna fucking. But
Right.
not. I don't know if that's also like premeditated. What do they want us to be that way? Because they know there's more income. I sound conspiracy like a fucking crazy guy when I talk about this.
No,
But
but
like,
you're talking about what you're saying is family. You're talking about families that just stays together and they don't move out. They don't kick
no.
the kids out at 18
But that's not
and
normal
21.
here. That's not normal
No,
here in the
normal
US.
here is kick you out as soon as you're 18 or 16. I don't know.
But I've wondered if that's like premeditated from like the higher ups. I know that sounds crazy when I say it like that, but like if I'm crazy enough to think about this, if I was a multi-billionaire that runs the world and I saw that, hey, you know what? I've realized that when families split up, now we got income from this guy renting an apartment, and we got this guy renting his own apartment, and we got this guy doing his own thing, and we got this guy doing his own thing. It's not one unit anymore.
Well,
So there's more for everybody. It's more, now there's not one bank account. Now person A opened his bank account, and person B opened their own bank account. Like it all expands. And I'm wondering if that's just natural habit that we're like, maybe as animals, we're like, nah, fuck that. We don't want to be with our parents. Or if it's just something that's been put in us.
well, I think the American culture has instilled that in a lot of people. The American dream.
Yeah.
Okay, that American dream, this elusive, I don't know what you want to call it, but this American dream has just ruined this
It's changed,
society.
though.
Because everybody is trying to get that American dream. They're cutthroat. They're doing whatever they have. People are coming here from all over the country, from all over the world to this country, to partake of this American dream. Okay.
You don't feel like the description of American dream has changed so much? Like maybe like when you talk about like, you were talking about like Hebrews, Jewish. Like maybe back in the day, like the American dream was just making it to the U.S. and getting your own house and getting your own store and living a happy life. That was
What do you think it is today?
I guess to each his own, but to the narrative, like you see, like everybody wants to be is just money.
That's what it is.
Money, power, whatever. Like it's not like enjoy the moment anymore. It's not.
Because society and technology and everything else moving so fast.
You want to be this next TikToker or the next. I was really happy when TikTok went away for a day. Now it's fucking back.
Is it back already?
Yeah.
Because I deleted it off mine.
No, it came back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
Trump said he
is in
liked it.
Yeah.
He said, that's one of the big reasons Trump won is social media. He was smart. And no one gives his son credit for that. His son is the one who's like, hey, Dad,
I heard about that.
we need to take advantage of this whole social media platform because Kamala Harris ain't going to go on Joe Rogan and tell the truth. You know,
Kamala Harris is just,
it's just how do you trust somebody that on one day you see her saying, I'm just giving an example, I don't eat pineapples, versus a couple weeks later, like, everybody should eat pineapples. I love pineapples, like shit like that.
Yeah. When they're flippy-floppy that week, they'll bend with any wind.
Whoever's,
That's it.
it's just all money.
Yeah, and the fact that Biden put her out there and everybody got excited and, you know, you had all the stars, all the musicians, you know, endorsing her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. With Democrats and with Republican, it's both give and take, okay? With Democrat, okay, if you want to, whatever Biden and them did for the economy, you've got to accept that, but you got to accept this. You got to accept this transgender movement. You got to accept this. You got to accept that. Whereas with the Republican, okay, we can get America flying straight, again, according to biblical principles, but most Republicans I've met are racist, okay?
Yeah.
Most Republicans I've met are
Like
racist.
hardcore Republicans, yeah, they tend to come with like their little bit of aggressive racist entitlement.
Right. So with Democrats and with Republicans, it's give and take on both.
But I've heard this too. And I don't know how you might feel about this. I'm not full white, so I can identify with two, but like I've heard somebody say it like, well, so what? Like when I told them that, like, yeah, Republicans are racist, they're like, well, so what? This isn't my country. I'm visiting. Obviously it might be a little over exaggerated, but like I respect the fact that they feel entitled. This is originally their country. I'm just a visitor. Like I respect their rules and like, yeah, obviously I don't agree with like getting fucking like thrown into a prison for being a certain color or a certain religion or nothing like that. But in a sense, you get, like America is America. America, like the people that were here, we're here. I'm not an original from America. I gotta respect it however it is.
You know what? Let me double down on what you just said. People complain about this thing called white privilege, okay? If you look throughout history, every civilization or every people that have conquered lands and settled in had privilege.
Yep.
The Egyptians had it, Romans had it, Greeks had it. That comes with the territory.
Yeah.
And so I think like you, okay, this is not my country. I mean, originally, okay, my descendants from Africa, but I'm in a country that has been established by a certain group of people. Sure, it was built by people like you and myself that we built it, but it was under their leadership.
Originally, yeah.
Absolutely. So,
and it's done so many great things. Well, for me, like it's done so many great things. Why are you gonna bitch about a gender neutral bathroom? Like, chill the fuck out. You know, there's so much great things here. Like you want to fuck up your day? Go look at videos of third world countries of like kids that are gonna die tonight because they don't have a fucking bowl of soup to eat. Like that doesn't exist here. As bad as it is here, we don't have like equality and this and that, but that doesn't exist here. No. Starvation doesn't exist in the U.S.
Shouldn't.
When do you hear about that? I'm sure there's outliers. People do starve, but like, when do you hear about that?
You don't have to in this country.
Yeah.
There's too many people helping.
Yeah, there's government help. There's people helping. Like that's one big thing that people just take for granted. I told that to somebody, they're like, well, yeah, that's normal. Like, it's not normal.
That's why
to us, it's normal because we've grown that way. We're entitled to Wi-Fi. We're entitled to 3 meals a day. That doesn't fucking exist if you go somewhere outside in the world. Like,
I'm trying to tell you.
There's a place right now that's getting bombed. Like, there's a place right now where you can't, like, you're afraid of your own government because they might go murder half your family.
Right.
Like you got to chill the fuck out.
But here's the thing. In this country...
It all comes back to what I said here. Go jack off and rethink the situation.
And if you come back with the same attitude... You might be onto something.
Exactly.
But no, I agree with you. I have no problem with what do you call
privilege?
Privilege. I don't have a problem with privilege. I have a problem with the way it's used. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I was traveling through this little hick town down south, and I pulled into one of them gas stations where the people still come out and wash your windows and put the gas in, right? When I pulled in, I waited there for like 5 minutes, nothing. A truck came in with a white guy. Guy comes out of the building around to the truck, to the white guy. The white guy says to him, that gentleman was here first. He uses white privilege in a respectable way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when you use it under the pretense that you are superior because of the color of your skin,
Mm-hmm.
you got a
See, the
problem.
world is so random that could have been completely misinterpreted. What if that guy was just an employee and he's like, hey, there's this gentleman here, and his boss said, fuck that guy. You go help the white guy. Maybe that guy who you thought disrespected you was deep down inside a good person. He wanted to help you, but he couldn't.
Okay, but now you're looking...
Because he's just another pawn. He's just another person.
Okay, but now you're looking further than what's actually there to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what I'm saying, you're giving him the benefit of the doubt, and that's fine. But all I'm saying is that I waited there for 5 minutes, and
Nothing.
the guy that pulled in,
Mm-hmm.
when the guy came right out to him, and the guy in that truck told him to serve me first, I was just showing how I appreciate how he used this white privilege, you know. But like, I have no problem with privilege because every ruling civilization has always had it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like when, like, I haven't gone in a long time, but, like, if I ever go visit Mexico again, like, I'm low key. I don't expect to rule nothing. I don't expect to, like, have this entitlement of a fucking, like, oh, I'm an American. Like,
right.
No, I'm not Mexican. I tell people I wouldn't survive in Mexico. I make a joke about it, but, like, you throw me out there, like, as soon as I'm at an eye contact solution, I'm fucked. They don't have Amazon Prime out there. There's no next day delivery of my shit over there. I don't know, but I remember you got to refill your stove every week. I was like, this shit is wild. What do you mean?
But you know what, though? Speaking of Mexico, man, I've been looking at some of the towns and cities there, and I see, like, the shanties people are living in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, there are cartels over there.
Yeah.
Okay? I can't understand them allowing their people to live in such poverty.
It goes with good and bad. I'm sure there's, like, good cartels and bad cartels.
Well, all the years of cartels, there are some places that are still just run down, poverty-stricken, you know, and I don't understand that. I really don't.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if you took whoever's running a well-civilized area versus a guy, a clan or whatever, a fucking cartel that's running a shitty place like that, they're probably two different kinds of people. Because there's, like, respectable... There's respectable people, like, there's always been respectable mobsters that took care of the town.
Right.
There's always been respectable cartel leaders that took care of the place. Like, I recently started watching the shit about Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
And I started really learning why some people, like, they loved him.
Because he took care of...
They were like, yeah, he sells coke, but, you know, he helps us out. You know,
Well, but we've got running water,
Yeah,
fresh
yeah.
water.
Yeah.
You know, he can sell his coke as long as we got water and food. Yeah,
just
you
because
know?
he's acquiring his money in an illegal way is what made him different from any other politician.
Well, here's the thing, though. Once you find out what the CIA was doing as far as drugs,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you know that right there, you can't. If the government is doing it, how can you blame?
No, it all goes back to money. There's money in allowing it, and there's money in getting it out. I don't know the mathematics behind it. It sounds very complicated, I'm assuming, but
Yeah,
there's money in both.
yeah.
Because it gives people jobs to get it out, and it gives people jobs to get it in.
That's true. And, you know, the United States, we put on this white hat that when we're the leader of the free world, etc. But if you look at the covert operation of CIA and FBI, man, you say, man, they're just as corrupt as every other.
They are. We're just as corrupt as anywhere else, but I feel like we have it a lot better than, you know.
Oh, our condition?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
corruption hasn't gotten to the point to where we're starving from it.
There's a place where, like, if we're talking about what we're talking about right now, they'd probably be onto us, and they're probably going to shoot us when we get home. You can't talk about this stuff. No,
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where? In Russia, China, any place.
Yeah.
You go over there talking about, you know what? Let me tell the president.
Yeah,
they'll-
no.
Man, they'll snatch you out of there so fast they won't even get dirt on the carpet.
Yeah. Even Putin, as crazy as this sounds, me saying this, that dude deserves some respect. He's ran Russia for a really long time and kept people under control for a really long time. And when I say under control, that comes with good and bad. There are oppressed people, but there's a lot of Russians that I talk to that are like, dude, Russia's awesome. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Russia ain't that bad as people make it seem. Obviously, there's fucked up places, but he's like, dude, Russia's not that bad. Well, yeah, like he's a fucked up dude in some ways, but it's not that bad as people make
Well,
it
here's
seem.
the thing. I heard there were some black people actually that went to Russia to live. way
Roy
back
Jones
in the day.
Jr. Roy Jones Jr. Is a Russian citizen. He's not a U.S. citizen anymore. He gave that up.
Did he really?
Yeah.
When?
A couple years back. I gotta search that, make sure that wasn't a lie I created in my head. I don't have my computer got to check on me here. Roy Jones Jr. citizenship Russia. Roy Jones Jr. citizenship in Russia. Yeah, Russia.
Moscow, Reuters, Russian President Vladimir Putin has granted Russian citizenship to Roy Jones Jr., a prominent U.S. professional boxer who had asked for it last month when he met Putin in the disputed region of Crimea, the Kremlin said on Saturday.
Yeah, so he met Putin and he just like, I like this guy. I like what he's doing.
So now he's a Russian citizen.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what benefits that comes with, but
Well, is it true that Robert De Niro and Bruce Springsteen left the country?
I mean,
I
heard that too, but I don't know. I mean, there's people who have fled the U.S. for snitching on the U.S. Like, you ever heard of that guy,
Snowden?
Snowden? Yeah, like he put everybody on blast and he had to leave.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to what you're saying. We're corrupt too,
Yeah.
but we're happy. We have, like, it sounds funny, but we're happy.
We're
we have
happy in our
cars.
corruption.
Yeah, we have cars, we have lighting. A lot of the people that are in situations like homelessness here are either because substance abuse or a mental problem, or just unfortunately a really, really shitty deck of cards. That happens too.
That happens too. But you know what? I have found several of them who get disability
And they get comfortable.
rather than getting a place. Like, for instance, there's a guy. I live right across the street from King Supers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy who's been sleeping in his car for 4 years. 4 years. And I know because when I lived in Aurora, before I moved up to Central City, when I lived in Aurora, I had to rent a room until I got an apartment, a room in a house. Well, this guy was in that house, and they threw him out because he was just, just doing drugs and just bringing in all types of undesirable, right?
Yeah.
Well, I move all the way downtown, and when I go to King Supers across the street, he's in the parking lot in his car, right? He's been doing this for 4 years because all he does is spend his money on drugs.
Wow.
So there are people who rather be homeless than spend the money on drugs.
See, I've never understood that because I've tried like a lot of drugs throughout my life. I've tried them, not all of them. I've never done crazy shit like heroin.
Right.
But I've smoked some crazy shit, and like I never got addicted to any of that. Like my mind always told me like this is stupid. Like why you just ruin your life.
Right.
You know.
Right. And I've done some drugs in my lifetime, but I've never let it just grab a hold of me and keep me in bondage to it. But there's some people who can't shake it. You got some people that have mental issues that nobody will house them. Okay. But I see these people like sitting at bus stops. They hang out there all day.
All fucking day.
Drinking and smoking, and when you walk by, they want to hit you up stuff. They're choosing that because right now
That
there are
also
a lot
comes
of
with the
places-
freedom.
Right.
Believe it or not, that comes with a weight over their shoulder that we have that they don't. They
Right.
don't got to worry about bills. They don't got to worry about
Right.
social standing with people. They don't worry about people give a fuck about them. Like,
No, they don't worry about that until it's like 10 below zero outside, and they've got no place to go.
and even then they find a way. Even then they find somewhere like a fucking roof or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some die.
Yeah.
But most of them find a way. There's shelters. There's government help. Like there's a way to find a way. You could cruise around to Walmart for a couple hours,
Oh, just ride a bus
Yep.
for till the end of the line,
or get arrested and get through. What does they say? 3 nights and a
three
night.
hots in a cot.
Yep,
Yeah, absolutely. And a
Yeah.
lot of them do that.
exactly. There's always a way.
True. But there's so many organizations out there that are helping people right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you see somebody on the street, either they want to be there or nobody will house them because they have a mental problem. Now, if you notice, a lot of mental patients are walking the streets, and I found out, was it 1, 2, maybe 3 years ago, they had a mental hospital in Pueblo that they shut down because it was no longer funded, and they released a lot of them
Yeah,
here.
they just
And
got to
this-
release them.
Right. And so they're wandering, walking the streets, talking to themselves, and they need some type of, medical help.
They need some assistance.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. That's a shitty. That's a shitty.
I hate when I see veterans like that.
Yeah.
Man, there's no reason for that.
No.
There's no reason our government does not take care.
Yeah, there should be. If you like serve, there should be maybe like obviously they can't give you a luxurious life, but they should have something where maybe like these guys can just chill. If they don't want to do anything with their life anymore, they've done enough.
Because a lot of them have,
Yeah, give them a room and some fucking water. They'll be fine.
Yeah, what is that? They have something for veterans right now.
Yeah. There is help for veterans, but it's obviously not enough because you see a lot of people on the streets.
That is true.
But that also goes back to, even though they served our country and they deserve their respect for that, there's a lot of people that they could have came back and built their life, but they got overwhelmed with their emotions and decided to just do drugs. And it's also unfair of me to say that because I haven't seen what they've seen. That could probably scar the fuck
But
out of
you're
you.
just simply mentioning the cause some of them just come back and do drugs and that's a legitimate concern because a lot of people have seen things over there
Yeah.
and had to do things to survive.
Like unexplainable things.
Right. And they've watched some horrific things, kids, right? So it affects a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what they can do to drink it away or shoot it away or something. And I understand that too. But there should be help for them as well.
There should be.
When you see veterans that are homeless on the street, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, there's places like have you heard about they're doing assisted suicides in Canada?
I heard about
It's in
that.
the thousands a year of people and a lot of these people are unfortunately just mentally ill people or people that at the moment feel like this is the thing to do. But they're not telling them don't do it. They're telling them okay, sign the dot. Here's your
We'll
suicide
help
date,
you.
and we'll help you. Yeah,
Okay, and like you said, it's in the thousands, right?
I believe it was in the tens of thousands almost last year. And it's like a pod. You just go in there and die. I gotta check the exact number on that. But yeah, they're starting to really assisted suicides in 2023 and 2024. Numbers. So, well, maybe I might have overstated. It says that almost 1,000 people. It says 344 people had an assisted death between April 1st of 2023 and March 31st of 2024. I don't know how big of a region that might be, but even then, to just help 344 people, all right, fuck it, we'll kill you. To each his own. The only way I feel that should be allowed is if something happened to you where you're just not going to come back. I would tell myself, if one day I had some 7-pound shit happen and I got in an accident and my wife and my kids died and it's just me and I really have no point, maybe.
I could understand that thought pattern.
Yeah, maybe.
Or
But
if somebody has an incurable disease or something like that.
Yeah, and it's just pain every day or something like that, yeah. And who's to say? Maybe those 344 people...
We're all medical patients or something like that. True, but still, that is a high number.
Yeah.
Because I remember here we used to have
imagine if you heard, dude, last week they killed 10 people at Denver Health. You'd be like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Yeah, that would be frightening. What was I going to say?
Yeah, my uncle, he got assisted suicide at Denver Health. That'd be wild. Man, what the fuck are you talking about?
There used to be a guy, they used to call him Dr. Kevorkian.
Oh, I've heard of that guy.
Okay, that guy, he used to go around doing that. I don't know if he got time for it or something, but he would assist people. And I think the court upheld his argument or whatever. But, my God, you know what? You know why I just couldn't take my own life? Because I know I got to answer to God.
There's a group of people that identified that Kevorkian guy as religious or spiritual figure, that he was here to do, that ultimately what he was doing is in his loss, obviously he's suffering. He might have been crazy. He might have enjoyed it. But that he was doing it he'll absorb your pain and let you go be with God.
Yeah, well, that's just...
But does that count religiously? Because if you commit suicide, that's you go to hell, right? In some religions?
I believe so.
Are they trying to find a loophole? I technically didn't commit suicide. Dr. Kevorkian killed me.
Right. I was in so much pain, and you wouldn't take it from me, so,
Yeah.
Whatever. But No, because what God is joined together, let no man put apart. He's giving you the breath of life. This is the cards you're dealt. Deal with it until that time comes. But when you take yourself out, there's no telling what you're doing. People think they know what's on the other side.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know.
We could all be wrong.
Well,
We could all be something completely different that you don't even know about. Could be something we're not even like prepared to fucking inceptionalize. I think about that crazy stuff. Like, you ever have weird thoughts like that?
yeah.
Like, you said you partied back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say you did an overdose and this is just all in your head and you're having a flashback right before you die?
Well, that's going a little bit long. That's going a little further. And I got to watch you, Chris, because you're getting ready to. I can tell you get ready to take off your little mental spaceship. Stay grounded with me.
Yeah. But like, even though that sounds crazy, like, it is a small possibility. The universe is endless.
Well, I know we know nothing as we ought to know it.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that they're finding things in the middle of this earth, of this
Yeah.
planet, the stuff that they're finding, right?
Crazy
the stuff
things.
that's there.
On the water. Crazy.
Yeah.
Stuff that we
All
know.
that stuff. You know, it lets us know that we ain't running nothing and we don't know nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So, man, have you heard about some of the?
This all goes back to like I mean, talking about like psychedelics really made me look at everything. Like, I could take I'll listen to a religious explanation, I'll listen to a scientific explanation, I'll listen to a spiritual explanation, and then I'll interpret my own way.
Okay.
But I accept all. I don't think either one is wrong. Maybe the hippies are right. Maybe the churches are right. Maybe the fucking atheists are right. No one knows.
Well, let me tell you why I think and believe the way I do, because I had something happen to me some years ago that I'm glad I got a chance to say this on a podcast, because I don't tell many people about it.
You want to? You don't have to.
No,
You can tell me, and you don't have to tell it out loud.
No, I want to tell it out loud.
Okay.
Okay. Back in what was it? I can't remember the exact year, and I don't want to get the wrong year.
60s,
But
70s?
it was like 80s.
I didn't mean that as a joke. I'm sorry.
No, you should have said, well, you mean during Moses' time?
40s,
30s. When Noah was here? Yeah. No, this is what happened to me. I was so fed up with life and my predicament, just everything. And I would try to read the Bible, and I thought I found contradictions, so I would just throw the Bibles across the room. And I said,
How do you feel that came from? Like, one scripture contradicted the other? And
I thought it did, but I found out later.
You were
it didn't.
misinterpreting it?
Yes. But one night I was in so much pain that I remember laying in bed, and I said, God, if you're real, let me see the angels you have protecting us, or let me see Jesus Christ, right? 3 days passed, nothing happened. I forgot all about the prayer. On that third night, I was laying in bed in a fetal position, and my eyes were closed, and something opened my eyes. And I opened my eyes. I was still in fetal position, but only I was upright on my knees on the ground. I looked over here to my right, and I knew immediately who he was. I'd never seen anything that looked like that. But I saw Jesus Christ on my right-hand side, and I remember he was sitting in a way like he was getting ready to stand up. And being on his right-hand side, all I could see was his right eye. You know, when he was facing this way, I could see his right eye. And it wasn't until 10 years later, because it was the most unusual eye I'd ever seen. Mm-hmm. It wasn't 10 years
Part
later.
of you scared?
Huh?
Or when you saw that, were you overwhelmed by good feeling, or was part of you scared? Like, oh shit, I might be dying.
I wasn't scared or anything, but I remember I had my hands like this and I couldn't move them.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't move them, but he just let me look at him for a long time. And his eye was the most unusual I had ever seen on a man, right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, he wasn't white, he wasn't black. He had like the most olive tone, honey complexion. His hair was just thick and glorious. But back to his eye, he had the most unusual eye I'd ever seen. It wasn't until about 10, maybe 15 years later, I was watching, I think it was Discovery Channel, and they were doing a thing about lions, and they shined this light on this lion at night. And when they shined the light on his eye, something inside me said, boom, because it was the same type of eye Jesus had.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand. And then I realized he's known as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay? But I've seen him. He's literally let me see him. And that doesn't make me any more special than anybody. That probably makes me worse than anybody because I was hard of hearing. Okay?
Well, I mean, it sounds weird, but like, who's to say that we don't all have that possibility to see him, but we're just not open to it?
That's very
And
possible.
it takes a really, in your situation, a really low to let you open that door.
And he let me see him, and I've looked at him for a long time. But I will tell you this: for years, like I've always been against the Catholic Church and the pedophile and everything that's been going on for years. But they had a thing called the Shroud of Turin. It was
What is
supposed to be the burial cloth of Christ,
Mm-hmm.
right? And on this cloth, there's an impression of a face,
Yeah.
right?
Supposedly that's where like they cleaned him, right? They
Right.
cleaned him with that cloth when he was bleeding.
And this is what they wrapped him in.
Oh,
With
okay.
his burial.
Okay.
But anyway, I remember seeing that the first time I saw that, and I was saying it came from the Catholic Church, it can't be good. But after I saw Christ, the cheekbones on that image on the Shroud of Turin looked just like his. Because I remember when I looked, the first thing I noticed was his cheekbone. They were really big,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that Shroud of Turin, I swear, the
Yeah,
impressions
you made
looked-
that. You got that feeling. You knew.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
knew.
Yeah. But
And after that, like, did that moment just like scare, like, not scare you, but wake you up to like, okay, he's real. I should dedicate my life to this, or did
right.
did it just good things start happening to you after that?
no, I started studying the Bible. He started.
So
he
that kind of
started-
told you like, okay,
Yeah.
he is real. I
Right.
should fucking.
Absolutely. And from that point on, he began to teach me things, giving me answers to questions that people have had thousands of years. For instance, in a lot of churches, you hear taught in Genesis chapter 6 where it says, and the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, and they took unto them wives. Well, in every church you go to, they'll tell you that the sons of God were the fallen angels that came down and had sex with it. That's not true. God has shown me exactly who they are and where they came from. Okay, and I can go in detail about that some other time.
You should on your podcast.
I will.
One day, if you want, I know I'm a crazy motherfucker, but if you want to interview me, we
I'd
could
love
even
to.
do it. Could even do it here, and we'll upload it to your podcast.
I would love that.
That'd be
I'd
really
love
cool.
that. Let's
We'll
do
change
that.
the logo. Doesn't have to say "I guess so." We can make it yours.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. God told Noah that he would only give man 120 years, where everybody thinks, well, oh, see there, nobody's going to live longer than 120 years. No. What he was saying is that from the time God told Noah that up until the flood came was 120 years.
Hmm.
Okay, Noah preached all that time. And when he climbed in the ark with his family and animals, and the flood came, and the ark started lifting up, and people started swimming toward the ark, and he said, But anyway, God has just shown me things through studying His Word and just trusting Him, But I have seen Him, and I have no excuse.
What was the purpose of Noah's Ark? To kind of clear the world of evil for whoever didn't make it onto the ark, or
That's funny you asked that question because on the way down here, I was just thinking about that.
really?
I think because water always represents cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he said the earth was filled with violence.
Yeah.
So he just cleansed the earth. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
He just
And that
cleansed
can
the
happen again. People never take that into consideration too.
Well,
A fucking big rock can hit us, and it all starts over.
earth. Well, a big rock it is, but he made a promise he would never flood us again. That's why we got the rainbow.
Now we're gonna have fire.
Yeah.
California got a piece of it.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. There's conspiracies for days. Have you heard how coincidentally that burn pattern fits where they're planning on putting this new railway for smart cars?
No.
Yeah, apparently this dude, I saw a video on it. Like, this guy breaks down all the maps that happened in, I think, like Australia, Maui, all these places where they were doing these big railway projects were all burned, or something horrible happened right along that edge, right along that.
I didn't know that.
But I don't
didn't
know. Could be
because I
coincidence.
heard that they actually caught one of the arsonists.
Yeah.
Supposedly one of the arsonists out of California. But for a fire that huge,
No, that could have literally started with one little fire. Yeah, it could have been like one little fire, like a spark, an ember, let's say, wind and fire.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, oxygen. Yeah.
Yep. But so we spiral off topic again. So when that happened to you, that experience, do you feel like part of you interpreted like just coincidentally good things are starting to happen to me, or did you really have to change your perception of maybe you interpreted the same things that were going on in your life that you were like, oh, this is a down, this is a down, this is a down, this hurts, this hurts. After that experience, maybe you saw those same things and you're like, I was looking at this way, but this is good. Oh, this is what this is actually good. This is good. Oh, if I do this, this is actually good.
What he showed me was that from that point on, if I would study his word and try to walk in it, I would feel his peace and his comfort. And he did things for me. I'll give you an example. I was in Las Vegas, and I had gotten into a little scrap, okay? And I was really worried that I was going to go to prison behind it. And the temperature at that day was 107 degrees. And I was on my way to court. And I said, Lord, why do these people always have to be right? I said, I'm scared right now. I said, please, give me a sign. I said, it's 170 degrees. Make it rain. Just let me know I'm going to be all right. I kid you not. It started raining right then and there.
That's wild. And to blame that on coincidence or chance is just 1 in 100 billion.
It started raining right then and there. It started raining. I went to court. They dropped the case, and I was out of there.
That's wild.
I mean, he's done things like that for me throughout my life, and I don't deserve it. I'm no better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But he's given me a gift, and whenever I can, I use it. But I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and he's brought me through some very, very difficult times.
And for a lot of people, religion is good. Religion has good meaning, good teachings. There's marketing and everything. The church has also been marketed, and there's a lot of fucked up things going on, but
yeah, well,
religion to its core, I feel, is good. It's like, I think it was originally created to keep us level-headed. Because you imagine what the world would be like if, like, let's say tomorrow we found out some proof that proved it 100% that there is no religion, there is no God, there is no afterlife. Is when you're done here, you're going to just rot in hell, everything would crash.
You're talking about total chaos.
Total chaos, because who's going to be like, who gives a fuck?
Right, I ain't got to answer to nobody.
Yeah.
I ain't got to give accountability for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, you need religion because a government without religion,
there wouldn't be a government, or there'd just be chaos.
well, look at where we're at now right now. That's why we're hoping for a better, but
Some people overdo that. I've heard some people try to make their case with the religion and we need religion back in our fucking presidency, and I agree with that, but some people overdo it, where they try to throw the Bible at every single factor in their life, and you shouldn't do that either.
well, here's the thing. One thing that Jesus says, no man can come to me unless my Father draws him. You can't beat somebody on the head and expect to convert them to come to God. If God ain't calling you, you're not going to receive it.
Exactly.
It's that simple, So I don't beat people on the head with the Bible. I don't. I just try to live by
That should be something that
example.
you find on your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some people never need it. Some people live their life completely happy without ever the idea of religion. But
I
some
know people that openly rejected it.
Yeah.
They say, no, you got to want that. I don't want that, brother. Keep that away from me. I said, okay, that's your choice. You can't force feed anybody anything.
Yeah. I somewhat believe in there has to be something. We can't just be like, we're all here. There has to be something that led to us, but I don't know. I believe that there is. For me, it's simpler. I believe in no afterlife. It's just simpler for me. Like, I already got to worry about this life. Now I got to worry about what the... And like for me, it's more peaceful. It's as crazy as that sounds. It's more peaceful for me to believe, like, enjoy your time here, laugh, live, hate, love, cry, whatever. Because when it's over, buddy.
Well, see, then that means that this whole experience, laugh, live, love, cry, was for nothing.
Maybe not.
But here's the thing. You can say that. I can't because I've been given proof.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know I have to live my life a certain way. And that's why I don't use profanity on stage when I'm performing. I still make people laugh. without doing that. Only because,
Oh, you don't have to be like a raunchy comedian.
no. But I have to, I know I'm accountable for everything that I say and do, because I've been given a wake-up call.
You feel that wake-up call came with some kind of responsibility you felt you were endowed? Like maybe God wants you to spread it a little word, like to help, not spread the word, quote unquote, but like show people what could possibly be discovered?
Well, here's the thing. Right after that, from that point on, for 15 years, I was teaching Bible study in Nevada. That's what he called me to do, to be a counselor and a teacher. And that's what I do. But I only do it to people who want to receive it. I don't force it on anybody. I don't go up to people and see them on the street. Hey, brother, I don't do that.
Bible study can be beneficial for you even if you don't want to be religious. I ask people that are like religious about the Bible all the time because it opens my mind to new things. And oh shit, like like it just opens your mind.
Right.
Why not explore it?
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with exploring it. If you don't want to believe in it, then don't believe in it. But just listen. You don't have to say he's wrong or right.
Right. But I found most people won't come to God until they're like rock bottom.
Usually
really bad.
when something bad's
But
happening.
that's the best time because that's when he can get your attention. Because you got no place to go but up.
Yeah. We'll end this now. And I know I already took about an hour and a half of your time,
That's
but
all right, bro.
I'm glad you opened up with that. That's a real, hard thing to really talk about because a lot of people might just say, "I'll write you off in like you're opening up," and some
Right.
people might be like, "Oh, this guy's fucking crazy," but that's like you shouldn't interpret it like that. You should give it somebody to explain what they're
Well-
talking about.
well,
You know what I'm
here's the
saying?
thing.
I haven't had the
true.
experience you had, but why would I ever consider like, no, I was open to listening to you. Why? Because maybe there's something I'm missing out on. Maybe there's something that I've already experienced that I'm like, hey, well, shit, I had a day like that. Maybe that was my fucking opening or awakening or I'm trying to think if I ever had a moment like that. The only time I ever had like a crazy experience, nothing happened to me where I was like down or like having a bad time in my life, but who's to say that you have to be down to experience Jesus or God, right?
Right.
I remember I was just literally just meditating and breathing. Didn't have no purpose. I wasn't sad, wasn't happy. I had a habit of meditating. You sit down, you close, you just focus on your breathing and your seconds. And crazy thoughts come to your head. I don't know if you've ever done that, but you start to open up to everything, religious beliefs, scientific beliefs, your own feelings. And there was a specific moment. I don't know if maybe I got a fucked up herniated disc and I fixed it or something, but like there was a moment where I found this like perfect, like just perfect spot. Perfect. Everything fell in line. Everything. No more back pain, no more lower pain, no more pain here, no more straight. Like everything just got quiet. And I felt this like really positive, happy, almost to where you feel like you want to fucking let a tear out kind of feeling. I don't even know how to explain it.
What happened for this? What brought this on?
Nothing. I just like
What were you doing?
just meditating. And I was just thinking, and I was like, I always have I've had like back pain and body pain for years. Nothing to the point where I can't work or I'm not able to move, but like part of my meditation also comes with my body being in line. I try to not favor one side. I try to like center myself. And I felt like that day I found that center. I don't ever reach that center that often. That center is like very hard to reach. And I don't know if I'm explaining it
I know
correctly,
exactly what you're saying because
but like I never find that center that often. That day I found that center. Who's to say that center isn't, even though I'm interpreting it as quote unquote center, is something that came upon me and it's just telling you, you know what, that energy does exist. That positivity you're feeling that you feel you can't feel, it's there. I'm showing you it's there. Look how happy you are. Look how amazing you feel. You feel so good you want to let a fucking tear out. Who's to say that wasn't an experience that I had?
How long ago was that happen?
This was 5 years ago.
And you felt it that one time?
I think that's the one. I mean, that's the only one that I can think of. I've had very similar almost there, but the one time that I remember that time was different. I don't know what the fuck I felt. I can't recreate it. I can't even explain it as hard as I want to tell you. But you've had your experience, so maybe we can relate in some way. I don't know. Were you overcame with like just good,
Oh,
like air, like?
well, let me give you an example about that. During this period, I had went out that hurt my back so bad that I was literally in bed for 3 days. I could not move. And I prayed and I said, Lord, just let me have one night's peaceful rest. Just take this pain away. And right away, boom!
You found it.
I'm talking about, not only was it not pain because I jumped up out of bed, because I hadn't been able to get out of bed. I jumped up out of bed. There was no pain. I felt so much joy and so much peace. It's hard to explain.
I know. It's
But
hard to
a
explain.
peace
I'm
that
trying to.
surpasses all
Yeah, it's a
understanding.
feeling you can't understand or explain. I don't know how. I felt like I was like even out of body in a sense. Like I couldn't explain it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It was like I don't even know how to explain it. There's nothing I can say to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. But who's to say that even though I'm not a religious believer, that might have been a religious experience. That might have, or maybe that's the wrong way to say it, because that might have been a heavenly or godlike experience. And I'm just, because I don't believe in the words that are used religiously, who's to say that didn't happen to me? Another example, just one, I know, I'll let you go here soon. Last one, I promise. The only one I could think of that maybe God has given me or like put in my life for a reason is before my kids, I felt like I was really without purpose. I've never had a struggle. Like I grew up privileged. I never all the problem. Now that I look back at it, all my problems were self-created. They were all they were all stupid things that you should not even be concerned with. I had no health problems, nothing like that. Nothing that really matters. Now that I have kids, I understand what really matters. You know, life and family. Right. So that's one thing that if I could be thankful for. If there's someone here who like a God that said, you know what, that guy needs that. Let's put that in his life. If that was for that purpose, that's the one thing I could think of where I could be like super thankful for, because that has changed my life completely.
And you know what? The most important thing in life is life, family.
Yeah.
Just you know, reproducing. What was the first commandment God gave Adam and Eve? Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Because family is everything, man.
Yeah.
When you raise your family right with godly principles, man, God will bless that. He will.
Yeah.
He really will.
Well, Ralph, thank you for being here, man. I know you got a lot of shit to do. We'll end this. Send it out with a little
Thank you for
outro
having
song.
me. I enjoyed the conversation. I really have.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about comedy, we talked about drugs, we talked about God, and we talked about other stuff. Ralph, thank you. I hope everybody tunes into this because it's a really good conversation that could benefit a lot of you. Let's just end it with this. If you're ever in doubt, go masturbate. And if after you still feel the same way, you might be onto something. Hell yeah.